Alright, let's talk about another Chronicled Wish, coming in 5.4. It's earlier than many of us expected, and the details we've got so far make it both thrilling and a bit confusing. If you're wondering which characters could show up, how this ties into Inazuma, and what it all means for the new character in 5.4, stick around because we've got a lot to unpack. Chronicled Wish is coming in 5.4, and this is happening way sooner than most of us expected. If you're thinking, wait, didn't we just have one? You're absolutely right. The 5.3 Chronicled Wish for Liu hasn't even settled in yet, and here we are looking at the next one. The source for this info is Flying Flame, a reliable person who has been consistent with their predictions in the past. This quick turnaround is surprising, as we've gotten used to having more time between these events. It almost feels like Hoyoverse is ramping up their pace with these limited rerun systems. But why now? Well, the answer might lie in the region being featured, Inazuma. There's a strong case for why Inazuma is the focus of the 5.4 Chronicled Wish. First, let's look at the pattern. We started with Mondstadt, where the Chronicled Wish coincided with the Windbloom Festival, and then moved to Liu, tied to the Lantern Rite. Following that logic, the next region is clearly Inazuma. But there's more to this than just patterns. According to the 5.4 beta, the main event in this patch is set in Inazuma. Chronicled Wishes have always been tied to major regional events, so it's almost a given that this one will follow suit. Plus, Inazuma hasn't had as much spotlight recently, so this feels like the perfect time to bring back its iconic characters in a meaningful way. Let's talk about the potential lineup. If this is an Inazuma-themed Chronicled Wish, the most likely candidates include fan favorites like Yaimiko, Ayaka, Yoimiya, Kokomi, Ayato, and Ito. Kazuha and Raiden Shogun will both hit 4 patches since their last rerun in 5.4, making them prime candidates for a return. But honestly, having both of them in the same Chronicled Wish seems unlikely. Seems like Hoyoverse won't put popular character like Yellen in Chronicled Wish. But here's where things get interesting. The rules for the Chronicled Wish system aren't as rigid as you might think. Officially, characters need to have 3 banners, 1 release and 2 reruns, to qualify. However, Shenhei broke this rule by appearing in the 5.3 Chronicled Wish with just 1 rerun. This shows that Hoyoverse can and will bend the rules if it suits the theme or timing of the event. This flexibility means that almost any of the Inazuma characters could show up, even if they don't strictly meet the usual criteria. It opens the door for some surprises like Archons in Chronicled Wish, but it also makes it harder to predict the exact lineup with certainty. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, Mizuki Ayano, the only new character confirmed for 5.4. Rumors strongly suggest that she's joining the standard banner, making her the first Inazuma character in that lineup. This raises a big question. How does this fit with the Chronicled Wish system? My main question is, how will the first Inazuma standard character fit into 5.4 Chronicled Wish? Will she have her banner in one patch and then go straight to the standard pool right after? One possibility is that Mizuki could debut directly through the Chronicled Wish, bypassing the limited banner entirely. It's a wild idea, but one that can't be ruled out. Honestly, when you lay Genshin and Star Rail side by side, it's hard not to ask, why doesn't Genshin just adopt a straightforward triple banner system instead of this Chronicled Wish approach? It feels like Hoyoverse heard players asking for better rerun opportunities, but then decided to overthink the whole thing, and came up with Chronicled Wish instead. Let's start with Honkai Star Rail. Their approach is simple and effective. In version 3.0, they introduced double-triple banners, where each phase features 1 new character and 3 reruns. That's a lot of options for players, but it doesn't complicate things. You see the banners, pick who you want, and pull. It's as straightforward as it gets. For players, this setup is fantastic, because it maximizes rerun opportunities without needing extra rules or systems. If you missed a character, chances are they'll pop up in one of these phases. Plus, it's clear and predictable, no second guessing about who's eligible or which characters might suddenly become available. Now, compare that to Genshin's Chronicled Wish. On paper, it sounds great, a limited-time banner featuring characters who haven't had reruns in a while. But when you dig deeper, it's full of unnecessary complexity. Hoyoverse added rules about how many banners a character must have before qualifying, but then they went and broke their own rules with Shenhei. It feels like they're trying to create a system that's both unique and flexible, but in reality, it just adds confusion. Wouldn't it be easier to just add a triple banner? Imagine if instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, Hoyoverse simply gave us 3 banners per phase. Players would get more chances to pull for their favorites without needing a separate system with its own quirks and exceptions. It works for Honkai Star Rail. Why not for Genshin? Now that Chronicled Wish is firmly part of Genshin Impact, the chances of us seeing a proper triple banner system are close to 0. It's clear that Hoyoverse is investing in this system as their way of addressing the growing need for reruns. Triple banners would have been a straightforward way to solve the issue of fitting more characters into rerun slots. But Chronicled Wish feels like a compromise, a way to offer limited reruns while still controlling the pace and structure of banner releases. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It has its own charm and excitement, but it does feel like Hoyoverse decided to go with the more complicated option. So here's what we know so far. The next Chronicled Wish is coming in 5.4, likely focusing on Inazuma. Hoyoverse is actually addressing a significant chunk of the most wanted reruns. Characters like Kokomi, Ayaka, and Ayato, who are often at the top of rerun wish lists, could potentially all be included. If Hoyoverse commits to 2 Chronicled Wishes per region arc, this could be a solid way to ensure fan favorites don't get left behind. That said, I still believe triple banners would be the better option. They're straightforward, offer variety, and don't come with the same level of restrictions or unpredictability. Chronicled Wish is a nice compromise, but sometimes simplicity is just more effective. What do you think? As always, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this breakdown helpful. I'll see you in the next one.